Internet, we are back for another edition of dance reviews online. So we're doing the Foxtrot today for what would normally be our ballroom class. We didn't really have time or an avenue to let you guys vote like we normally would have when people showed up for that class. We would vote on what dance that they wanted to do. So we're doing Foxtrot. The other dances have gotten some good amount of play in the last week for the rumba and the cha-cha and swing and some of those. So we're doing Foxtrot here, and it's pretty much what you see is what you get here. So you've got your slow motion. Oh, Foxtrot, this was one of our original 2 DVDs. So don't forget that if you are wanting to dance or practice or learn in the comfort of your own home there, that we've got those DVDs available as well. So far that basic is looking like the same way it would in class, where you've got 2 slow steps and a pair of quicks to the side. The first 2 building blocks of Foxtrot is that if your frame is at rest, a forward or backwards motion will be a slow, and a sideways motion will be a pair of quicks. So the basic follows that here, where we've got our forward motion for the leader, back motion for the followers is 2 slows, and then our side together is a pair of quicks. And again, I can't hear what you guys are hearing while I'm recording the review. I just am watching the film silently there, so we don't get like triple music feedback for that. So we are using all rights-free music. You probably noticed that on the DVDs we don't have music. We do that on purpose so we don't have to work out licensing for music. Plus, we want you to be able to match your dance steps to any music that you enjoy, so it doesn't have to be the same kind of music each time. So we're heading into the promenade now. So you've got a couple of levels of the promenade. When you're first starting out, you're going to turn your whole body to the promenade. So leaders, you want to make sure that you use that right hand to turn the followers all the way to facing that new forward line. Once you've been doing Foxtrot for a little while in any of the smooth dances, you can leave your frame, your shoulders and arms mostly the same, and basically turn at the bottom of your spine, turn at the hips, so that it's just your legs that are kind of walking on that new line. These are smooth motions, so those toe to heel, so heel toe rather while you're taking forward steps, and toe heel while you're taking back steps. We'll be following that throughout. So it's not shown here on the DVD. We had to make some concessions for how much we actually fit, because there's 36 steps on each DVD. But when you're doing this promenade, you really are benefited if you start with a basic beforehand or some other step to use the side together of whatever previous motion to get yourself the momentum into that promenade. It's a little bit hard here on the DVD to just start cold into promenade with no momentum that direction. And you can see on our second slow there that we kind of point our toes back to facing each other, and that helps us stay smooth but also communicate to our partner that's where we're headed. Next up, we've got that pout turn, promenade outside underarm turn, and this is another one that kudos to Leslie here in the video for doing this turn with no momentum. Otherwise, he generally, when you're dancing, will want to already have done a promenade basic. Where again here on the DVD we cut that basic out so that we'd have room to fit all of the material onto the disc. So we've got that. With that side together momentum, you're going to start that lead actually earlier before the move starts, so that you can use that frame, that right hand there, leaders, to accelerate the followers down the line for that. Hoping all you guys are enjoying your at-home dancing. We'd love to hear your stories, so if you want to post comments or if you want to record yourselves and send us some videos of what you're doing there. So here I am turning so that I can keep my knees protected. So when you're actually doing these, you're going to want to pull that first, if you're the follower here, that first right foot, you want to pull those toes hard to the right and move them a little bit right of your center, so that way you get out of your own way as well as keep your knees safe while you're turning. This does end with us facing each other there, so make sure that leaders, you're not either accelerating them, or followers, that you're not overshooting that turn. It's really easy not to stop that turn in frame. And one thing I did notice here too is you want to make sure that, and she's doing a great job here, that you take that left arm, followers, in between you and through the middle when you go to turn. That way you don't get hung up on the leader's frame. So right here she brings it over through between us, and then make it ready again so that it can go back to frame. Whatever shape your arm leaves, that's the shape that you want to be able to return it to. Heading into that promenade pivot, this is one of my favorite Foxtrot steps. It's great for going around corners. Leaders are going to take that second slow across so that you can turn and face the followers. Yep. So one thing that 10 years ago me here isn't doing all the way workable is, once I get to that second slow and I'm turning to face the followers, you want to make sure, leaders, that you're pulling your hips all the way to facing them. Otherwise you can be giving mixed signals as far as if it's a slow or a pair of quicks that's coming next. Yeah, followers, you have this one pretty easy. You're only going to have about a 90-degree turn if you're going around a corner, or 180 degrees if you're trying to stay on the line. Yep, and then for both legs of your eye there in the video, make sure that you are trying not to watch your feet when you're in promenade there. So you can see how I'm kind of swinging that leg wide, leaders, and you don't want to do that. You want to actually pull those hips. So right here, see, there goes my left leg around her line. I want to instead pull my hips so that my left can land with the heel out and make that a smoother motion than 10 years ago me was doing there. So I'm liking the hats. I'll have to get back to wearing those hats again. 10 years ago, that was sort of my look when I always had a hat on. So here we're getting to another building block. So our first two building blocks were if you have a relaxed frame, your forward and back motions are slow, and your second building block there is if you have a side motion, it's quick. Well, here on the video you're seeing that now I'm doing some quicks that are running in progressive. This is our third building block in Foxtrot, which is that when you have compression in the frame or tension in the frame, you actually flip those first two rules. So now with frame compression and tension, I'm able to take my progressives, steps, and change them from slows to running quicks here. So you'll notice in my frame, or should hopefully notice, that I'm relaxed, and then my frame, that's hard to see that tension in there, but that's what happened, is the tension accelerates that slow into a quick here. So I've got relaxed, relaxed, tense, 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 relax, and that'll take me through those motions. If you do get a chance to watch on the Foxtrot blooper reel on the DVD, and maybe I'll post that on one of our Throwback Thursdays coming up here. These traveling motions that you have to stop on a dime are really hard to not just have the momentum barrel over and go flying. So this has been our Foxtrot class, and hope you've enjoyed. And if you can support us on Patreon, we really appreciate it. Every little bit helps, and we'll keep trying to make content for you guys. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, Internet.